Here we are. Ready or not. Welcome. Yes, a little bit of a quick change from our last show, but yes, welcome to our very first episode of the Disney Couples Podcast. So this is our WDWpov Disney Couples Podcast. Yes, we're donning our Mickey and Minnie ears right now. And
we are very festive.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So what's that? We're very festive.
We are festive.
We are festive. Oh, she's already taken my hand away from the mouse. Thank you for the comments, by the way. But we're not going to post anything here, but you can comment and keep the comments coming.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said. You twist everything I say.
But as you can see, we are.
I am Minnie Mouse tonight,
and I am Mickey. My nice white little bow tie, and got my Mickey ears. Oh, you know what? Hold on, because.
So
wait, I gotta do. Go ahead, you talk.
He's giving me permission to talk now.
I got something to do here.
I am Patty.
And I'm Jeff.
We are the Molitornos, and we have been charged with coming to you to talk about
Disney couples,
yeah. Their relationships, explore what works, what doesn't work, and then we will be sharing what works and what doesn't work in our relationship.
Mm-hmm. Can I do this next thing real quick?
Go ahead and do the next thing.
Because I'm not going to be able to keep this on very long. Ready?
Ready. He has Mickey hands on.
Hiya, pals.
He loves doing Mickey. Mickey Mouse is not your favorite.
No, he's not.
But you love doing Mickey Mouse.
I'm okay doing Mickey Mouse. Hiya, pals.
Okay, so welcome. Before we get started in talking about Mickey and Minnie, we are going to briefly tell our story. In our background, we have the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Yes.
Which is such a delightful ride.
And we should probably say too, again, I know some of you have already done this, but if you can, we haven't shared out to very many groups. I think we shared out tonight to our POV group.
I'm asking you this. Are you editing all of this out in the podcast?
I can.
Okay. Then you can say whatever you want.
I don't have to. I mean, this is all part of the fun. But if you get a chance to share it, please do. I just shared it to our group. I shared it to our POV group, and I shared it to our new Disney podcast couples group. But and I think I shared it to my wall. That's it. So
let's briefly tell our story. Do you want to go first?
Do I want to go first? No, I'm going to say ladies first.
Oh, okay.
But you go first, Minnie.
Jeff and I first met. Well, actually, we first talked. We talked on the phone.
Yes.
I was in 7th grade. I was in 7th grade.
So young.
I was in 7th grade. And
I was what, 9th grade?
Yes.
I was a freshman in high school.
And he was in a lot of classes with my sister. Now, we lived in different communities because we went to a central high school. Mm-hmm. So our paths never would have crossed had we not gone to that high school. But he was friends with my sister. And because my last name began with an M and your last name began with an M, and they did everything in alphabetical order, we sat very close.
Well, I sat close to your sister.
Well, you sat close to my sister.
So I knew her sister.
So,
and yeah.
Then we talked. We would talk. You'd call.
Well, okay. So there were times where I would end up calling to talk to your sister, about either homework stuff or
He's
sometimes
using the homework excuse.
It wasn't anything beyond that. Plus, I used to sometimes once I was a sophomore and I had my license, I was her chauffeur sometimes.
My sister's.
Your sister's chauffeur with. Like I was driving her and her boyfriend. So see, It wasn't me and her sister. No, don't get the wrong idea.
And it was not as scandalous as it seems, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, back then, freshman and a 7th grader talking to each other. Okay, whatever.
We were just talking.
We were.
And I actually gave one of my 7th grade pictures to my sister to give to you.
I believe I still have that.
And I still have the picture you gave.
Yep.
So my sister was the go-between.
Yeah.
And it was very innocent. Like, okay, I'm talking to this person. Hey, why don't you send a picture home? And because I always answered the phone. I did.
You did. She did answer the phone a lot. Just so she could intercept any boys who might be calling.
No, that was not it at all. Well, the first day of my freshman year at this high school, we still had not met, and you had even been to my house a couple times. But I was out of town once, and another time I was babysitting, and so we still had never met. First day of my freshman year, I'm walking down the hall, and I ran into him.
Well, not physically ran into me.
Well, I knew it was you.
I knew it was you. I could tell who you were.
And we started talking.
She was really cute. She still is. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I
didn't mean to interrupt.
So we then began.
Isn't she cute with those ears on?
We began a couple year, about a 2-year friendship.
It's almost like one of those sitcom shows, where you're sitting there going, are they going to get together? Or what's happening with these two? Do they like each other? Sorta.
And then one day you were getting ready to graduate.
Well, you skipped a lot of years there.
It was only 2 years.
You're not going to talk about,
No, let's not talk about that.
No,
we'll save that for a future episode.
Some juicy stuff she doesn't want to talk about.
We'll save that for a future episode. Then about 2 years later, he's getting ready to graduate.
Yep. And I'm working on, I believe it was genetic. Yeah, it was a genetics paper. It was my last paper as a senior in high school. It's the last thing I had to hand in. Last thing I had to finish writing. And what happens?
I called.
I get a phone call.
And I asked if he wanted to go to Pizza Hut.
While I was in the middle of writing this report.
With some friends. It was all
No, I was writing the report by myself.
I know, but I asked you to go to Pizza Hut with friends because it was Memorial Day weekend.
It was. And by the way, the report I was writing was supposed to be it was like a co-written paper, me and one other kid who did this genetics project together. We didn't really do it together. I did like 99% of it. And he just basically.
And you're putting this out on the internet so everyone knows that your grade was a false grade.
No, my grade was
a false grade.
My grade was legit. His was like he just took a ride on free railroad thing or free parking or whatever it's called on Monopoly. He took the ride around and got the pass go.
So I called, asked him if he wanted to go. He said.
I said, well, I've got this report that I have to finish writing. But sure, yeah, I'd like to meet you at Pizza Hut as soon as I get the report done. And I probably sort of light speed finished up my report as quick as I possibly could so that we could meet at Pizza Hut.
So we could go to Pizza Hut. Yeah. And we went to Pizza Hut.
With her friends.
With my friends. And that was the beginning of a 3-year relationship? About 3 years.
Was it 3 years? Seems like longer. It seems like we dated longer than that.
No, because it was almost 4 years.
Anyway, and again, I'm looking at the comments popping up here, but I'm not permitted to pop them up because she doesn't want me to. So, but you keep commenting because I'm like seeing some of the people's comments here.
How are you going to edit out all this stuff that you're talking?
But see, here's the thing. Even if it's a podcast, the format is a little different. I'm not going to be used to it for a while. But you see, I even brought the microphone down so that it's more like a podcast show. But here's the thing. Even on a podcast, what you can do is you can still highlight some people's comments and say, Mary said, Mary commented.
Mary commented the beginning of a lifetime with Chatty Charlie.
Oh, man.
And I can say that because you chat a lot. So we did begin dating, and I think I knew. I mean, I was almost 16. I was 15 3/4. You were 18.
Okay, let's not talk about that.
That wouldn't fly today.
No, that wouldn't.
No.
That would not fly today.
You're right. Times have changed. It's been 30.
The word jailbait.
It's been over 40 years, and standards were different.
They were very different.
They were.
Yes, my parents were like about 10 years apart.
My
when they
parents
got married.
were 9 years apart.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, we were only 2 years difference, really.
Two
and a half, roughly.
Yes.
2.5. Yeah, a couple of young punks, getting together.
So, and when you talk about getting married young, that is one of the
strike one.
Yes, strike one. We have a lot of strikes.
That's never going to last.
Mary also said her parents got married at 15 and 16 and had her.
Wow.
So that was very young. But so
they got us beat. They got us beat.
That is how we met, and then eventually got together, and we're still together. 37. We've been married 37 years.
And here we are wearing Mickey
I keep saying
and Minnie.
37.
It'll be 37 years in September.
Okay.
Right?
Yes,
and
correct.
Here we are now in front of a live audience wearing Mickey and Minnie ears. Mickey hands.
You can take your Mickey hands.
I'll take
off.
my hands. See, I have this one's free. But yeah, Mickey hands. I got my little bow tie on here. We got it going.
We're a minute.
She's got this thing. Click, click, click. Okay, that's 10 minutes. We're done with that segment. Anyway, but we'll give you more details.
Through the next
coming episodes of maybe a little bit more about some of those juicy details that my wife doesn't seem to want to talk about.
But we're not going to give everything away in the first episode. Why would they tune in for more?
I don't know, because we're nuts. That's why.
Okay, so
I never know what to expect.
Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Mickey and Minnie
Mouse met. They met. They were born on November 18th, 1928. And when I use the term born, that's the date. That's their birth date that were given.
Well, Father Walt, I believe, gave them that date, didn't he?
Correct.
Father Walt.
The couple was first seen in the short Plain Crazy in 1928, and we're going to play a short clip. Are you going to narrate this short clip?
Do you want to do this short clip already?
Yes, that's where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
This was the beginning.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you ready? Have you guys all seen this? Is what I want to know.
Well, they probably have, but when you did, and again, I'm going to say my wife did 99% of the research on Mickey and Minnie. I'm just sort of along for the ride. But no, seriously. But we watched some of the shorts, we rewatched some of the things, and we watched this one, and it was like, just take a look at this, and I will narrate as we go here, okay? It's a little different. And if we're on Facebook and you're watching us on Facebook, let us know if you get cut off, because we're hoping that this short little snippet does not get us cut off here. But here we go. Ready? So Mickey, oh my goodness, look at this. He's kissing her. He's forcing himself smack right in the face. So here's what happened, basically. So you got Mickey and Minnie. Now it's Plain Crazy. Mickey is flying this plane. And in this particular scene, just before that, Mickey is flying the plane like crazy. He's making Minnie get scared. He's like sort of putting her in a position where, he's sort of like got control over the situation. I'm going to scare her. And he's like, like this, trying to get her to kiss. And in the scene just before that, she's like shaking her head no, right?
No.
So then this scene,
but you have to remember this was 1928, where no didn't mean no.
Didn't mean no, apparently. And so he's like, "Oh, I don't care." He does a loop the loop, which came just before this scene, and then this little 7 or 8 second snippet here. He's back to pointing at his lips, like, "Hey, come on, baby, give me a kiss, baby," and she's still like trying to stay away, but he just like grabs her, pulls Minnie right to his mouth and starts kissing her.
And she slaps him.
And she pushes him away. And then, yeah, she just goes whack, smacks him in the face.
So that is the first that we see of them. And then
that's like, really? That's the first?
That's the first.
That's the first?
And then
wow.
in Galloping Gaucho, he would.
T9, yes, he would be in prison.
He would be in prison for that now, yes. It was a different time. In Galloping Gaucho.
Wait, what is that again? Can you say that one more time?
No, I can't say it 5 times fast.
You can't even say it one time.
Mickey saves Minnie in that she's, I believe, in a little club.
Okay.
And a saloon. She's dancing in a saloon, and he saves her.
Loosey goosey.
And then Steamboat Willie. They're seen in Steamboat Willie. Now we're going to move to 1929. Mickey's Follies.
But they started off with. I mean, I'm still.
But we have to explain all this.
I know this will be explained in a minute.
So Mickey's Follies.
There's
Mickey
more to it than it
singing
seems.
a song, and in this song he sings. This is the first time he references
Minnie Mouse, right?
Who Minnie Mouse is to him.
Yeah. And
So.
again, if Facebook kicks us off, please let us know. But I'm going to try and cut this up into little segments. So here we go. You ready? This is from what movie again? This is
Mickey's Follies. It's not a movie. These are all
shorts. Yeah.
Shorts.
So here is Mickey's Follies.
I'm the guy they call Little Mickey Mouse.
Okay. I'm the guy they call Little Mickey Mouse.
You
Okay.
don't have to sing it.
I like to sing. They love to hear me sing. You guys love to hear me
They
sing, right?
probably don't love to hear you sing. They're humoring you, just like I do.
So I'm
we're humoring you.
okay.
We're humoring you.
Oh, you are you?
Okay.
So I'm the guy they call Little Mickey Mouse. Okay. Here we go.
Got a sweetie down in the chicken house.
Got
a sweetie down in the chicken house.
Well,
Look at the grin on his face. I know you
don't-
podcast listeners.
I do not know what the sweetie down in the chicken house. What is a chicken house? Does that mean something?
I mean, I think it's the chicken house because this was
they
Mickey's
were
Follies
mice.
was at a farm,
They are mice.
and this was at a farm. And the Gallaghers, Patrick would know what a chicken house is, right?
Well, yeah. So it's the chicken coop type thing, and
Pat
mice,
and Samantha know what a
mice
chicken
are
house.
hanging around to eat the little food that falls down.
Yeah, that could be. We have a chicken house in our
Okay.
backyard too. There aren't chickens in it right now, but we have had chickens in the past. So yeah, so I'm the guy they call Little Mickey Mouse. Have a sweetie down in the chicken house. Okay, great. Okay.
Neither fat nor skinny, she's a horse and Winnie.
Neither fat or skinny. She's the horse's Winnie. Okay.
She's my little Minnie Mouse.
And there you go. She's my little Minnie Mouse. So that was from
1929.
1929, Mickey's Follies.
So it appears in the early years that they are courting. Mickey's trying to win her affections. She's probably not doing it the best way possible. I would say today, do not use early Mickey as a way to get a girl.
Not the best example.
No, and I probably would not have, had you done some of these things that Mickey did, probably never would have gone out with you.
So I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to sing that song to you.
No.
Okay.
If you say I'm down in the chicken house, I'm going to wonder about this.
Oh my goodness.
So, and she plays in many roles a damsel in distress. She needs saving.
Right. That's as years go by.
Yes. Yeah. Now, when you look at Mickey Mouse,
Mm-hmm.
let's look at his characteristics.
Okay.
Okay, he's kind. He is kind.
He is a kind soul.
He's brave. He rushes in to save her in most instances when he's not trying to force himself on her.
Come here, baby. Let's have a kiss.
He's optimistic, and he even in later years, he's always optimistic.
Yeah.
He's cheerful and lovable, and he solves problems.
Okay.
It's
like the early episodes, though. He's almost more like Pete became, he's a little sinister.
Okay.
But he is a nice guy as time goes by.
Minnie Mouse is cheerful.
Oh, absolutely.
Feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
She's got those nice little shoes.
Sweet.
She is sweet.
She's forgiving.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse was persistent. This is true. And she is slow to anger.
Okay.
Except when he was forcing himself on her. Then she hit him real quick.
Smack.
Okay.
That he deserved a smack in the face at that point.
But I'm doing this research on the early shows, early clips, and I had seen some of them. I had not seen all of them that I had watched,
Mhm.
and then I came across something, and pretty much blew out of the water everything I thought I knew about Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I did not know this.
I know what you're going to say.
In 1933, in Film Pictorial Magazine, Walt said,
I've got a little graphic here for you.
He
Here,
has a
here.
graphic
Look at
for
this.
me.
There it is.
Walt
Film Pictorial.
said that sometimes Mickey appears to be married to her in his films, and other times he's still courting her.
Mhm.
What it really amounts to is that Minnie is, for screen purposes, his leading lady. If the story calls for a romantic courtship, then Minnie is the girl. But when the story requires a married couple, then they appear as man and wife. Off screen, they are married. In private life, Mickey is married to Minnie. So what we see on the screen is just acting.
It's just an act.
It's all an act.
So in real life, Walt said in their private life, Mickey is married to Minnie.
And then to go further, in 1952, Minnie took a break from pictures for 33 years. What was she doing for the next 33 years?
33 years. Now, so roughly how old would she have been when she started this?
So 1928.
Okay.
And she stopped in 1952. So that would have made her 23,
24. Somewhere in there, yeah.
24.
Hmm.
Like Lucy and Desi.
T9.
Yes, that is.
So 33 years, around 24, she takes a break.
Well, okay, so you think that might be a long time to take a break, 33 years, but if she's raising children.
Ooh, okay, so.
But they never explain the break.
No, Walt never explained it. Mickey and Minnie never explained it. But again, that's their private life, not their
And they
public,
never explain anything in their private life.
That's not their movie / public persona. So, they wanted to have a private life. I can respect that. Mickey and Minnie, would you want a bunch of paparazzi coming after your kids if you had, especially you got a bunch of little mice running around, little little.
Okay, so we're speculating that she was homeschooling.
T9 says she was homeschooling. Okay, yeah, and well, I mean, quite the litters that they could produce,
Well, okay, so here's the bottom line. When we're looking at
33 years.
When we're looking at Mickey and Minnie for relationship advice,
Mm-hmm.
that is really, really a good model to follow. That there are certain things you should
You mean
keep
forcing
private.
myself on you?
No.
Oh, not
certain
that part?
things
Okay.
you should keep private.
Okay.
There are things between a husband and a wife that should be kept private and shouldn't be open for the entire world to see.
Wait, so you mean we're not going to talk about everything we do in private?
No.
Okay.
No, we're probably not. Now, the thing is, if somebody came to us and asked a question, we would probably sit down and talk with them. But
Maybe,
we're not going
yeah.
to talk on the internet about every single thing in our relationship.
Exactly. In private, yes, we would, be willing to talk to people about things, if they had questions, I guess. Sure.
Yes.
But I mean, you're going to get a lot of info on this show, but we're not going to give you everything. I mean, come on, we got to keep something private.
I'm sure we all know those couples who on Facebook, they're putting things that I'm like, why would you?
Okay.
No, they're putting things about their relationship or if they're angry at each other or like things that make me uncomfortable. Like, why would you say, or, say mean things about one another publicly?
I thought you were going to talk about some of the people who, everything that's posted is, great smiley faces. Everything's beautiful and perfect.
No, we don't pretend that.
Yeah, see, T9 says they kept them hidden from the paparazzi.
They all grew up and led quiet, normal lives away from the spotlight.
Right.
And so now here is a fun fact. I have a fun fact for you.
You have a fun fact.
Minnie's dad's name is Marcus Mouse.
Marcus.
He's a farmer. Minnie's full name is Minerva.
Minerva Mouse.
Minerva
yes.
Mouse. Now,
does our Marcus know that Mickey's.
We have a son named Marcus, and yes, he knows. We talked about this.
Okay.
But here's my question:
Marcus Mouse. That's interesting.
if Minnie's father's last name is Mouse,
Wait, yeah.
are they related? Are Mickey and Minnie related?
Oh, Mickey, Minnie, come on. Yeah, because
Or is Mouse just a generic last name?
I hope so. I hope
and
so.
we don't even know their real last names.
Yeah, because I mean, Mickey's last name is Mouse. Minnie's father's last name is Mouse.
Okay.
That's a little weird.
So-
That's a little weird.
So here are the key takeaways. What can we learn from Mickey and Minnie as a couple?
I have no idea. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. No, you talk about that. I'm just here for the ride.
Really?
The bow tie is cutting off the blood to my brain. I think.
I have to say this. I love the look of Minnie ears, but
and that from the Jersey Shore. She says, "Yeah,
Mouse
Mouse was a common last name,
like Smith and Jones.
Smith or Jones,
Yes.
exactly."
I love.
Yeah, Tina,
I
said
live.
the equivalent of Smith.
I love Minnie Mouse ears, but they are cutting off the circulation to my brain.
You're probably going to have a migraine now the rest of the night, aren't
Oh
you?
my goodness. I don't know how people do this in the park the entire time. Okay. So here's what we can learn from Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Okay.
You're laughing too much.
I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll stop laughing.
Don't ever laugh again.
I'll stop laughing.
No, I feel like almost like I don't know. Okay. So
And there they are in the background. See,
They-
right there. Right
they
there.
complement each
Wait, you
other.
gotta move
And
over
when
there.
I say
There.
compliments,
Right there.
when I say compliment, I don't mean like, oh, Mickey, you're so adorable. I mean that they have different qualities, and those qualities, they come together as a
Mhm.
couple and complement. Okay. They love each other. You can tell that. That's a pair. They
You
do
can.
love each other.
You can tell that.
And they laugh together. Did you ever notice that? They have a good time.
I was going to try and do a Mickey laugh right now, but that would just.
Go ahead, do it.
I'm a little parched right now.
Okay. So now here's the thing.
No, it's not good.
Walt and his wife Lily created Mickey and Minnie together. He consulted her. Many men, especially back in that time period, would not have consulted their wives.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
he
yeah,
did.
yeah, absolutely. No, I know. Like your parents' generation.
No,
I mean,
they
your
did-
dad, my dad, back in those days, 40s, 50s, 60s. It was just like, they did whatever. I mean, they made the decision and boom, that was it. There was no consulting the mom at all or the wife in this, Yeah, I mean,
And your dad even went so far as like he would buy a stove or refrigerator and bring them home.
Yeah.
Your mom didn't have any say.
yeah, she didn't get to pick it out. It was just like, here's a new stove. In fact, I remember because I think she wanted a gas stove or something, and he bought an electric, and that's the only reason we had an electric stove in the house was because my dad bought it, and that was it. That was the end of the story. So
And-
yeah, no consulting going on.
And that's probably not very good for a relationship to not consult. But
Yeah.
that was common.
But that was common. But like you said, Mickey and Minnie sort of worked
Walt and
together.
Lily.
I'm sorry.
Walt and Lily.
Mickey and Minnie, Walt and Lily. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so they worked together to come up with Mickey and Minnie. And
Yes.
that
And-
was amazing. I didn't realize that Lily played a hand in bringing
Well-
Minnie in and doing that. Yeah.
Well, and she also, he came to her
Mhm.
and showed her the drawings, and
Mhm.
and she supported him and was his best friend. So that's, those are things that are important. You can
Are
be,
you my best friend?
maybe if you remove those goofy ears.
Those are not goofy ears. These
There
are
are
Mickey
Mickey
ears.
ears.
Come on.
So, yes,
Get your ears straight.
I am your best friend.
That's good. So,
And love and laughter are two great ingredients for a marriage.
and that's what Steve was just saying here too. He was saying,
Laughing means you guys are having fun. It's not work.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we can laugh and we can have fun and use Disney couples as a useful tool to look at qualities that make a great relationship. That's what we're trying to do here. But at the end of the day, what
Uh-oh.
really sustains our marriage? Laughter. You can laugh, but what happens when you go through serious situations?
Cry.
You cry.
Cry and get depressed.
And
No.
it's, in the good times when you're laughing together, everything's wonderful. Most couples don't get divorced because of the good times.
Right.
They get divorced because they're going through a difficult patch financially, or they're having a hard time with dealing with something. Money or the kids. A lot of the couples don't
drives
agree.
a wedge between you, and you start getting farther apart because of something you start arguing over.
So statistically, 50% of marriages end in divorce. It might even be higher now. And 75% of marriages affected by chronic illness end in divorce. So that's pretty high statistics. But the divorce rate for couples who attend church together, and any kind of church. So it's not just in the Christian faith, it's any kind of church. Some kind
of faith.
Yes. 38%. It's only 38%.
So it's it's down somewhat.
But they used to say that it was the same.
Right.
They used to say it was 50%, but when more studies were done, they realized no. Because I could say I go to a church but never attend, only go on Christmas and Easter. That's not a church attendance.
Right.
So they counted all of those couples in with the original study. And then when they did a more extensive study, they found it was only 38%.
Okay. So about a 12% improvement.
Yes.
So that's at least something.
Okay. So now another statistic. I like statistics.
Miss Statistics here.
I do like statistics. I loved math.
Say that again. Statistics.
Well, you could say statistics.
You say a word so many times it just starts to sound goofy.
Goofy.
I know. Okay. Mickey. How's that?
Okay.
Sounds Mickey.
It doesn't sound Mickey. Okay. Only 11% of couples pray together on a daily basis. Only 11%. But guess what? Now, this I've always said. I've told you this before. You could guess.
I know I could guess.
You could guess because,
or I could look at the notes you have.
Don't look at my notes, because I think this should be on billboards everywhere.
Okay.
The divorce rate of those couples who pray together regularly, less than 1%. Less than 1%.
That is.
That's amazing.
That
is amazing.
That's incredible.
Well, no, that's
another.
The
Disney
Incredibles
movie. Incredibles are another
different Disney couple.
Yeah, we will do the Incredibles at some point.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good couple.
That's a good.
That is a good couple, a good family.
So I am not Mrs. Statistic, but I play one on TV.
And by the way, that's the other thing I was going to say is that we are not marriage counselors, but we play one on this podcast.
We are not marriage counselors.
We're not even playing one on this podcast. We're just
Disney couples enthusiasts and we do have a passion for marriage.
And just trying to bring, I guess, some lessons from the actual Disney animated or even live action movie couples, and try and apply it to life. Right?
Right.
Is that what we're doing?
We are trying to apply principles, but marriage is hard.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Where did I see that? Somebody just said that.
I said it.
I think somebody said it earlier in the show.
I just said it. Marriage is hard.
I know you did, but I think somebody might have mentioned
giving somebody else credit for
No,
what
I think if I scroll up,
I'm the only person who's ever said marriage is hard.
I've never said it either. Yeah, and no one else has ever said it in the history of the world.
I was the first one.
Anyway,
he's making fun of me. I think.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
You are. Okay. So anyway, back to.
Are we getting divisive here?
No, we are not divisive.
Okay.
So marriage is hard, and I think there are things that we can do to make things easier. Now, there have been moments where I did not want to work on this marriage.
Yeah. I can vouch for that.
Okay. Have there been moments you didn't want to work on it?
I guess I have to give an honest answer, right? Yeah, there have been times where I just looked at you and said,
That's not what you said. You didn't say a word. You just walk out the door and go to work and immerse yourself in your work.
Well, yeah, when I worked. Now I'm here, I'm right here.
And spouses do drive us nuts. And we
I like Sandy's comment here. I don't know if you saw that about
families should pray together.
And more fathers should be in the homes. That would be a good thing. In fact, we just talked about that. That was a church part of the sermon yesterday was
about fathers
and fathers that take their kids and what is it? Fathers that go to church. There's like a much, much better chance that the kids and the wife will go to church. Even then, if the mother goes to church. So if the father goes to church, the family tends to go to church. If the mother goes to church, I think it was like maybe a third chance that the rest of the family will go. If the father goes.
Not go, but have a relationship.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing, though. When we look at praying together, I would contend that praying with your spouse is harder and requires more intimacy than being intimate. He's not talking.
No, I'm thinking. And that's not good on a podcast because nobody can see you thinking when you're
He's thinking. And when he thinks, I will tell you what he does. He puts he still rambles. He puts his finger on his mustache or his lips, and he purses his lips, and he rubs his fingers, his thumb and forefinger, index finger. He rubs it, and sometimes he plays with his mustache. This is his thinking phase. And then if he doesn't think quick enough, his wife plays a Minnie Mouse and smacks him. No, she doesn't.
No, I agree with you. What was the question? No, I agree with you that yes, praying can definitely be more of a intimate thing than
intimacy.
Than intimacy can be, if you get what I mean.
They got what you meant. You didn't have to.
If you know what I mean.
You can't also see, you can't see when he's thinking on a podcast. You can't also see when I'm rolling my eyes on a podcast.
Oh, yes.
So,
yes.
So,
but it is. Praying is a very intimate thing. It actually absolutely is.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you laughing about?
Blank stare at each other.
Should I do a Mickey Mouse and overpower you and kiss you right now?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just wondered. Sometimes it works.
So next week,
what you got to admit, there are times where you might be, and this is a little side note here. That Mickey Mouse thing at the beginning, where he overpowers Minnie and he's like trying to have his way with her.
He just was trying to kiss her.
Yeah, he was trying to kiss her, but that's not the way to do things. But you have to admit, there are some times where my wife, Patty, will be upset about something. And
I want a hug.
And I'll give you a hug, but sometimes you need a kiss.
Well,
and then the problems seem to melt away. Just saying. Okay.
Well, problems don't really melt away. I just forget about it for a second.
Okay.
And sometimes then you realize that it really wasn't that big of a deal. So
yeah, but sometimes kissing does help too. It does. And hugging. Hugging's good.
Kissing never works.
Oh, right.
Okay. So next week.
Aye.
So do you want to summarize what we talked about Mickey and Minnie? So what are the key takeaways we're telling people? To laugh together?
Laugh together. Well, I mean, although Mickey and Minnie didn't say it, but we said to pray together and, to communicate, work together. Mickey and Minnie helped complement each other. Like one had some strong points. The other, Minnie was very patient. And I know a lot of you wives out there need to be patient, especially, with some, knuckleheads like me out there.
Don't call yourself a knucklehead.
see, even Tina says it. Yes, it does. It works wonders.
Kissing.
I think she means kissing. Hugs too.
Okay.
Hugs too.
So next week we're going to talk about another couple, but we're going to put it to the audience to decide.
Are we going to do a poll? You're going to put a poll on?
I don't know. Should we do a poll?
I think that makes sense. Okay, so this is all on the fly. I say what you probably should do.
No, I'm going to make you do it, because if I got to do the research, you got to do something else.
Okay, well, so we have the new group, which
do.
we have about, I don't know, we've got a number of people. If you think about it, and I know some of you have already done this, but if you think about it, go ahead and share or invite some of your friends to the group. That would be the WDWpov. It's called the Disney Couples Podcast Group. If
a division of WDWpov.
A division of WDWpov.com. If you're in the group already, great. Please invite some of your friends. If you're not in the group already, let us know. You can private message us. You can, if we're friends on Facebook, you can message us and do that. If you are not in the group and you want to be part of it, you can ask to join. It is a public group, so it's a little different than a private group. It is a public group, so you should be able to look up the Disney Couples Podcast, and you should find us. And then you can ask to be a member.
The one thing I didn't bring up that I was sort of disappointed about.
See, we've got somebody voting already. Donna is voting for The Incredibles. We just talked about The Incredibles.
I have to say, I was sort of disappointed about Mickey and Minnie as I started to research them and felt that since we don't really know them, it was hard to, because we could watch the shows and pick out qualities, but they're just acting.
Right.
And so it was very difficult to use them as a couple, but we wanted to start with Mickey and Minnie because
it was almost, I know, I mean, you had to start with Mickey and Minnie, but yeah, it was weird because once you read about the fact that Walt said that in their private life, they were married, it was like, okay, so all these little shorts, all these movies we've seen Mickey and Minnie together in are basically just acting.
Okay, so we do have a viewer question. Steve
says
is asking.
Goofy. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Goofy has a son, Max, but who is the mother?
We don't. Well, we're going to have to do a little research on that.
This was another thing that I found very interesting. Mm-hmm. Pluto was not Mickey's dog. Pluto was Minnie's dog.
Right, that's right.
So how did Pluto, I don't know when Pluto became Mickey's dog. But when he first showed up, he was Minnie's. Mm-hmm. So what happened there?
I don't know.
Did he just get too big for her? I don't know. We don't know.
Well, I mean, okay, so it's her dog, but Pluto could be in the movies with Mickey, right? Because they're movies.
They are movies.
It's not real life. See, that's the weird thing. The animated Mickey and Minnie movies and shorts were not real life. Can you believe that? But they were married in real life, in their private life. Yeah, we're getting a little crazy here, folks. But yeah, so Donna said The Incredibles. But like I said, what we should probably do is in the group, we should put a poll.
We probably will put
We'll maybe put like 3 or 4 that we're thinking of doing the next show on. But people can add more to it if they have interest in a different couple that we didn't mention.
I'm going to put my
and we'll put it out there for people to vote on.
Here.
And we'll see where it goes.
Okay, so here's the couples I'm thinking of for next week: Belle and Beast.
We'll write it down. So
Flynn Rider,
The
and
Incredibles.
Rapunzel.
I'd like them. Yeah.
Snow White and Prince. What's his name that they never say?
Prince so and so.
It's Ferdinand, but you don't hear that. I don't know where they even got Ferdinand because it's never said in Snow White. Prince, what's his name? Well, how would you like to be? Hey, what's his name?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Beast, he didn't really have an official name until they called him, was it Adam or whatever? But he really wasn't, and that was.
Or The Incredibles.
Incredibles are a good choice.
Okay, so these
So
are
what-
our
so
first four.
But you need to write that down because I'm going to
Right.
forget.
All right,
Oh, you got them written down? Okay, good. So we'll put down
See, do
four
you see,
to
he
vote
tells
on.
me you have to write them
Well,
down
I didn't
because I'm going to
see
forget.
that you already wrote
And
it
they're
down
already
there.
written down because,
Oh, Mary says it should be your choice because you do the research.
well, we did watch the clips together. We did watch the clips. I just did more of the reading research
Okay.
because that's one of my specialties.
I know you love doing
And
that stuff.
even in business together, we did like I researched trademark and copyright and
Mhm.
and when we did trade shows, when we did trade shows, I researched about everything that needed to be done.
What needs to get shipped and what's the better way to ship things and stuff like that. But yeah, 99% of the work. Thanks, Mary. I did a little bit.
No, Mary said because most wives do 99% of the work.
Yeah.
I think that's a made up statistic.
Oh, Steve's asking about Ariel and Eric.
Okay, so Ariel and Eric, they will, like, we have lots of Disney couples to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Lots.
Well, like I said, we could start with these four. You can put it on. I'll start the poll tomorrow. But if somebody wants to add in another couple, they can. And if they get enough votes, we'll go with it. Is that okay with you?
Well, what if it's a couple I hate?
But you got to give the audience what they want.
What if it's a couple I hate?
They still got to give the audience what
Are
they
there
want.
any couples you hate?
I can't think of any that I hate. Oh, Mary said, yeah, okay, 100%, not 99.
Okay, now I think she's really making that up.
Okay, so we're past the 45-minute mark here.
Yes, I know.
Do you want to
We-
officially? Well, we still have to officially end the show,
We're
and then we
gonna-
can do some commentary.
How do we
with the-
officially
with
end the show?
We say goodnight, and then but what we'll do.
You can
just so
say
you know-
goodnight at the end and just edit this out of the podcast.
Okay, but you need to explain to them. Okay, so 45 minutes is technically what we're going to try and do for the podcast portion of the show. Then we're just going to hang out for about 10 or 15 minutes and sort of talk and comment with you guys.
And if you have questions, if like relationship questions.
So this will
or-
be off the air podcast wise. Now it's still going to be on Facebook and YouTube, but it's not going to be on the podcast.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Why is that?
I don't know because I started
Because
to
it's
research.
live.
No, I started to do. Well, no, I know, but do you think I'm a moron? I know it's live. Does he think I'm a moron?
No.
Okay, so Steve says it's like Jeff's high school paper. Miss Patty does all the work and Jeff is along for the ride. No,
I
he
did my
the
own
paper.
high school paper. That was
I
me.
didn't do anything
Yeah.
with this high school
No,
paper.
no. She did nothing with the high school
Nothing.
paper. That was
I
all
just
me.
called and asked him to go out.
I had a so is this off the air then? This okay. I had it was me and one other guy were supposed to do that paper. And it was a genetics thing. And we had to do it was a fruit fly study.
Are you sure it wasn't mistyping your blood?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the blood test thing. That's another story. But yeah, so there was a fruit fly experiment thing that went awfully, awfully awry. It did. It went completely wrong. Nothing made sense. So in part of the paper, I actually wrote that, and I said, these are the main explanations of what could have happened with the experiment. Either there was some contamination after the fact, or I said, or most likely the teacher may have given us the wrong samples to start with. And I got an A on the paper. He might have actually done that to try and throw some people off because our results didn't come out the way that we thought they were supposed to. Which
Science results never do. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I can't tell you the number of times I've done science experiments with the kids. And there's detailed instructions and you follow the instructions and it doesn't come out the way it's supposed to at all, ever.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, Kelly's got a question here.
Yes.
So go ahead.
How do you bring up praying? I think it should be a conversation while dating. What if you have already committed?
Committed.
Then how do you suggest getting them to pray with you? Okay, Kelly, here's the issue. even bringing up the thought of praying is
that was for Mary.
Is
For her
much harder for some reason, and it's probably because of our society in general. Like, with very openly on shows and movies, we talk about, and I'm using this word, sex. We talk about it very openly. Couples talk about it. The TV shows, they talk about it.
Yeah.
They talk about it in school. They talk about it.
I think part of it, again, is because what we sort of alluded to, and several of you mentioned too, is that praying together can and should be more intimate.
But society talks about sex all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about it with your girlfriend. You talk about it.
You get pummeled with it. Yeah.
And nobody talks about praying together, because
Mary has a good point.
If you go to church together, it is easier, Mary says.
That's a good basis, or that's a good way to get started. Yeah.
Yes. But, like I read my Bible. When we got married, we didn't pray together.
No.
And you didn't read the Bible.
I did.
You knew what the Bible said.
Yeah.
Things in the Bible, but you didn't sit down and read it.
In high school, I did. Not like you did, though.
I read the whole Bible.
Yeah, you like plowed through the whole thing multiple times, and yeah.
But I'd
go through like Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and when you hit Numbers, I mean, it's like, oh my goodness.
I would, if I was reading the Bible, I would say, hey, listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you were open to that.
Yeah.
But we didn't pray.
No.
No.
We didn't.
No.
Not together.
No.
Not like we do now.
No, not at all.
No. But yeah, Mary's saying, yeah, Steve converted because they went to church together. So yeah, that's it. I mean, that's a good start. That's definitely a good starting point, versus just being able to just dive into praying together. Like you said, though, yeah, it's like, and again, using that S word, sex, it's like, it's pounded and thrown all over the place in front of everybody on commercials and TV and everything else that, you almost become numb to it at some point. It's just like, oh, there's that sex thing again.
Sandy says she reads the Bible every year, and that's a lot of reading.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I've read through the Bible a couple times, start to finish. But when I first started reading the Bible, I started in Genesis, and then I read Revelation.
Oh, so you saw the ending.
I
did.
Read the end.
She found out the ending before. Oh my goodness.
I found out the ending. If you go to church, and you can talk about the sermon.
Yeah.
You can't.
And Sandy's saying, yeah, if it has changed my life, accepting Jesus as my that's awesome.
As my savior. You glossed over some words.
I was getting to that part.
Society, Mary says society doesn't make people feel comfortable to discuss faith.
Not at all. Not at all. Not even close.
And what aren't we supposed to talk about? Money, politics, and religion. Religion
are the things that people say you're not allowed to talk about.
And at one point, those were the things that people got, they'd sit around, and our founding fathers sat around and talked about.
They talked about politics,
money.
Religion, money.
Yes.
Mary said you don't read the Bible straight through. You can. I mean, that's one way.
I've done it that way. And I think it's good to do at some point, not ever. Whatever works for you.
There are some good Bible plans out there that concentrate on certain aspects of things which are good to go through.
Sandy said she reads it every year.
Yeah.
So when you read it every year, do you always read it start to finish, or do you change it up depending on like a certain Bible plan?
Right. Mary's saying, yeah, those are all things you don't discuss at dinner. Kelly,
so how do you start praying together? Okay. So if you
Kelly's
bring it
asking,
up,
oh my goodness, I forgot I have ears on.
if you bring it up, Is that something you can bring up? Are you comfortable bringing it up?
I'm trying to remember how we did. I mean, again, it's sort of what Mary alluded to. I mean, we went to church together. We started going to some Bible studies, or like we went to some couples groups. Remember that? Where, we basically met at somebody's house and, we'd talk and, just got more comfortable with it at that point. And then, and during some of these meetings we would start to pray together as a group. Sometimes we'd break up into couples and would do that as well. We would pray with each other. So, I mean, that was what I remember how we sort of started praying together more and more often.
And there are some books out there. A Book of Prayers for Couples by Stormy Martian. I don't know if you say it Martian. It looks Martian. I don't know. Okay.
T9 has got a big...
her husband is Catholic and she's Protestant. We pray together. I sit in on visits by his priest. He sits in on visits by my pastor. We knew going into the relationship that religion would be an obstacle course. We decided that it wouldn't be. I have been to Mass many times and Ed has been to service with me many times. Ed has gotten over the need to go grab a rosary every time I grab his hand to pray about something. Thank you for sharing, Tina. That is, something people need to hear, that you can even, you can go to different churches and be raised different and still come together
and pray together.
Yes.
And Sandy has a point here too. She's saying, basically like prayer groups are the best, which is good because, that sort of got us together to the point where, we did some different Bible study groups, and then we did the couples one, which was specifically married couples. And first you started as a group praying together. It got people more comfortable. And then we were able to start praying together more often. So,
okay. So but there's this Book of Prayers for Couples. There's When Couples Walk Together. It's 31 Days to a Closer Connection. There's When to Pray, Discovering the Power of Praying as Husband and Wife. So there are the Lost Art of Praying Together. Oh, that looks interesting.
Well, Kelly's got something about it.
She's not ashamed.
I feel he's close. I get him to read me scriptures so I can write them down. That's good. That's a good way to start there. That was.
I so appreciate that she shared. T9 has shared that.
Yeah, I did not know that about them, and that's cool.
Well, they probably don't know everything about us either.
No, and that's what
really
they don't. Okay. They don't know everything about us. No, but that's neat. I like that. And we grew up Catholic, actually, both of us. We grew up Catholic, and then we started going to
a Protestant
church years later after we got married.
So Sandy says, I'm on my 6th year of reading the Bible. It's not much. It's a routine, but God's got to be first before anything. And groups really
it's a good way to get going.
And in those groups, usually there are couples who are already praying together, and that helps.
You're very welcome, Kelly. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to try and do. Pre-Cana, we did that. We did. Mary's asked.
I was just recently saying something about that.
Really? To who?
I was saying, we answered all these questions. We answered about how many times a week we were going to have sex, who was handling we answered all these questions, right? We did a day. It was a weekend thing.
Yeah.
And we went Friday
how many
night.
Kids? We both were like, we both said, I think we said like 5, 6, 7 kids or something like that. We both agreed. We agreed basically on just about everything.
But there really weren't the really important things.
Like what?
Like when
Steve's bringing up a point. He says he thinks this discussion should be put in the podcast to get people thinking.
Well,
and we could. I mean, we could, and that's. But we didn't. We wanted to make sure that people were comfortable. But again, it's on the Facebook and it's on the YouTube stream.
Wait. So you interrupted me though. I was saying the important things that they never discussed in our pre-Cana. Like, what are you going to do when? Oh, no. What are you going? Stop.
I'll back off a second. I'll get to some of the comments.
What are you going to do when the 5th night in a row he rolls over and takes all the covers with him?
Me?
Yes.
What?
Or when he snores every single night and you nudge him and he rolls over and starts snoring on his side.
Okay.
And you're kicking him the whole time to get him to stop.
You're not going to find that out until you're in bed together.
That's right. Yeah. But how are you going to deal with it? No one asked you those questions.
Well, we could get to some of those questions at some other point.
How about when...
So this is how not to get along.
How about when she squeezes the tube of toothpaste right in the middle and drives you crazy?
Oh man, see, I always did it from the bottom, work my way up.
You did,
yeah.
And I didn't when we first got married.
She did.
I'm better now, but we have separate toothpaste.
She's better now. Anyway,
I'm better now.
Yeah, she's gotten better. Sandy's saying online, I think that's YouVersion.
YouVersion. All kinds of reading plans.
That is cool. Yeah, YouVersion Bible app I've got it on my phone. But yeah, it's cool because you can do, you can do King James, you can do English Standard, you can do, what is it, Amplified, you can do whatever version of the Bible you feel more impacted by, I guess. And sometimes it's cool because you can read a verse in different versions all at the same time. You get a little bit of different, you'll gain some different understanding of that verse from reading different versions. So that's a good point there, Sandy.
Sandy got blocked for praying for someone online.
That's crazy.
Well, you're not going to get blocked here unless Facebook takes us down.
Yeah,
Our standing joke, T9 says, is that I am the reason Ed is going to not heaven.
HE double toothpicks.
He had an old priest that literally died trying to convert me. Did the man literally die trying to convert you?
T9.
The priest that replaced him has told Ed not to worry. He was okay in God's book.
Jeez. Oh, man.
Well, okay.
We're sorry.
Did he literally die? I want to know if he literally died. Like, was he there?
He probably dropped dead right in front of them. You struck down or something.
Sandy says their church has marriage classes. And Mary agrees with Steve. Look at this.
Steve said
we're
the discussion should
couples together.
Look at that. He thinks the discussion should be put on. And this is a work in progress for us too. I still actually have to get all the podcast pieces together so that we can actually publish it properly and stuff. So this might not get published as a podcast until maybe next week until that happens. But
okay, so Mary's asking, I
like your input. I appreciate that.
Do you put the lid down?
Yes, I do.
He does.
I do.
And those are things I appreciate. Does he always put his clothes down the laundry chute, or does he sometimes fold them and leave them on the side of his bed for a while?
But I usually do that for a reason, because I may rewear them. Like if it's a piece of work clothing I can rewear and not have to throw in the wash, so that it doesn't have to get washed multiple times when it could just be washed once. Like if I'm working in the garden, and I have a pair of shorts or something that I wore yesterday, I might just lay them down somewhere. And I know I'm going to be in the garden the next day or two. I may pull those same shorts. That way, I don't get another pair of pants or something dirty.
Put snoring tape on your nose. Get your own blanket. Oh, the thing is,
she snores too.
Here's the thing: we sleep very close most nights.
Yes.
And so it doesn't make sense to have separate beds.
But she does snore too, so it's not a one-way road here.
You just deal with it. Then he has to go out of town, and you can't sleep because you hear every creak in the house. Oh, that is absolutely the truth. And
T9 is on target there.
We were actually talking about this. When they say that when a wife dies, the husband, the average time, it's like 6 months or something to get remarried.
Mm.
When a husband dies, a wife, it's like, I don't know, 3 years, 5 years or something.
Or never. Yeah.
Men rush out and get another wife right away.
It is like 6 months, I think, on average,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Um,
I don't know. I don't know why.
And I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe women are like tired of snoring and the stealing of the covers. I don't know, but I do know that when you were not in the house, yes, the house is so much noisier.
Yeah.
And I do miss you.
Katie says something about my church made the YouVersion Bible app, and you can also add each other and do plans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so T9 says he literally died, and up to the week before he died, he was still trying to get me to convert.
Wow.
Okay, but it wasn't while he was at your house trying to get you to convert.
Yeah, not right in front of you, hopefully. Jeez.
Our church has every class you would need to join.
Good.
Okay. Sandy is asking for prayer for Lisa, my daughter, who's home trying to get rid of 2 kidney stones.
Oh, that's painful. Our son had kidney stones. I think I had them once too, but didn't know it. I just felt like I had severe lower back pain, but it was more kidney. And then I went to the emergency room finally, because the pain was just so bad. And literally about an hour or so before I got to the emergency room, it disappeared. And I got to the emergency room. I said, I'm here just because I've had such severe pain, but it's gone. And they checked me out and they couldn't find anything. But
when our son had him, he did drink. He did the Coke thing.
He did the Coke. He drank a lot of Coke, which is supposed to help dissolve it.
That didn't work. Then he did the lemon juice and olive oil.
Okay.
And
lemon juice and olive oil.
And you can find that. I don't even know if I'm not going to say it works, but they say that riding, isn't it Big Thunder Mountain, is good to, that's what they said. That's good.
Sort of like when you were pregnant, we got out on the dance floor and the next day you had that baby.
Getting married once is enough for me, Mary says.
Yeah. But Sandy, we are definitely, I'm going to pray right now. Dear Heavenly Father, we just, raise up Lisa to you right now, and we pray that she has your healing touch as soon as possible to get through this kidney stone issue. In Jesus' name, we pray that. Amen.
And you never would have done that 10 years ago.
Never done that.
No,
ever.
Never.
Especially not in front of people.
You just did it in front of the internet. The interwebs.
But we do pray for her, and we will continue to keep her in our prayers.
So I believe T9's comment about this is why men get remarried.
Oh, because women do 99% of the work. Okay. I think it's because men really do.
Okay.
They may not admit it.
T9's
but
comment.
They do.
If someone
they do need a loving person in their life. Even if they act like they don't need, and they don't get emotional and that kind of stuff. No, they need women.
T9's comment, if somebody comes across it and reads it, and they're not going to know it's about kidney stones.
This is about kidney stone right here. This comment is about
lubricated that thing right out.
Lubricated. That's a kidney stone comment. Just for the record, we want to make sure kidney stone is what's referenced here. Okay. Family show, family Steve, program. We're going to talk about some intimate stuff, but it's still
we're over. We need to stop. I grew up Lutheran and Mary was Catholic, and we were going to church every week together. So I wanted to be the one in religion, so we could talk about faith. That Mary was. Okay.
And well, I know we know some people who before they got married converted to the other person's faith. And so I thought it was interesting, what T9 was saying, because they didn't, but they still
They still have the same Bible.
But they're still involved with each other's faith to some
Bible.
extent. And T9 is out there killing priests. Apparently,
and mostly the same Bible.
Mostly the same Bible. Yeah. There is a slight difference between
There
the
is.
Catholic and the Protestant Bible. Not
Yes.
a lot.
A few books.
There's a few books that are different. Yeah. A few that are included in one, but not the other. And Katie's saying that, her mother passed away 11 years ago. Father has not been remarried or does not have a girlfriend. So he's I think probably more the exception to the rule, but that's, first off, sorry to hear about your mom. In fact, my mom passed away 11 years ago. It was 2009, right? November 12th, I believe, 2009. So that would have been 11 years ago as well. Or is it 12? No, it's 12 now. Almost 12. It'll be 12 this year, coming up in November. But anyway, yeah. So just keep loving your dad. Keep loving your dad, and
Now,
help fill that gap.
you've talked about, but you have talked about this, about like if something happens to one of us. Oh, that was another question I wanted to ask the audience.
What's that?
We'll ask it. I'll write it down.
Okay. For next week, you mean?
No, I'll ask now. But you have said you wouldn't get remarried.
Okay.
But I'm not holding you to it if I die. Like I'm not going to come back.
And I don't care. I mean, I don't think I would care after I'm dead if you got remarried.
Really?
If you get remarried while I'm alive, I might have a problem with
But
that.
you said, and I don't know if you still feel this way, you said you wouldn't do that to the kids.
Yeah.
Because when your mom dated, it was hard on you.
Yeah. And at this point, then you're gonna make me.
What?
I mean, I don't want to think about this in the first place. I hope, not that I want to go before you, but I sort of think it would be easier for me if I went first for me. But yeah, like you said, if the kids maybe were grown up, you might think, okay, maybe I'll get remarried. We're not going to do that.
We're not?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. It probably would be, Jack would be, I don't know that it would work for him.
Well, and yeah, we don't know. It would, in fact, we had this conversation yesterday about, with some of our children. I had this conversation that, for me, it would definitely have to be, this is a God thing. Like, because it wouldn't be like I'm out there looking.
Yeah.
But
so I'm not, there's a little conversation going on in the background here about, I think, the Lutheran Church and the Catholic Church and some different possible.
Tina said that if anything happened to Ed, she's going to be an old maid. Now, Mary says it could help the kids. They wouldn't have to deal with Jeff. That is so horrible.
Oh, my goodness. I've been taking a lot of heat the last few weeks. You know that? I
know.
Chatty Charlie. Man.
And Mary said, easier for you, huh? Wow. It would be. I mean,
if I'm gone, I'm gone. I mean, what do I care at that point?
And only God has the plan, not us.
That's right. Yeah. So we, just live each, here's my little tidbit of information that I'll pass along. And I don't always follow it myself, although I should. Live each day to the fullest ability you have. Just do the best you can every day that you have. Live life to the fullest extent, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Do you do that?
I try. I don't always. I try.
So,
and you would think a person like me should do that more, but even I forget sometimes that you might not be here tomorrow. So Mary's trying to lighten the mood.
Okay. So, and Sandy said, see, we all try to lay out our plans, but it's God's plan. Now this is what I was going to say. So, okay. Do you know how, and I know you all know how, Disney does these like Maleficent. or Cruella, we hear about the villain. And there are situations, yes, hold on.
Yeah.
So there are situations that Disney puts in movies, and sometimes they say, well, this is real life in some of the movies. How would you feel if in a show they had Minnie Mouse die?
Wow.
They put in situations where there's divorced parents in shows.
Mhm.
They put in situations where...
That was the interesting thing about Luca. They actually had a mom and dad both alive in the movie. Luca had two parents. Usually one of them's dead. Something's, or they get killed. I mean, it was amazing. Two parents. I was just like, whoa, this is, like a regular two-parent family.
Okay, but
that was different.
Or if, like, they have a Cinderella and the prince dies, or the king, whatever they are.
But I mean, you're really hard pressed to find a lot of normal.
No, but what I'm saying is,
an actual couple that's married,
a Disney
that are
Disney
alive.
prince and princess, or Disney king and queen, whatever, princess.
Yes, and a grandparent too,
and
a grandparent,
and
pretty cool grandparent.
Like, would you guys like? What do you think? Would you, if Disney started killing off
some of the main, like the Fab Five? You got Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy.
But I'm saying, like,
Goofy.
If they did a Cinderella and Cinderella dies in it.
Wow. That'd be tough.
It's real life.
It's real life. But that would be a tough one. I don't think they can do that. Although, technically, they could kill off Mickey or Minnie in a movie because it's just a movie.
That's right.
But in their private real life, they're still alive. But in that movie, one of them could get killed. That's true.
Oh. Sandy says, don't bring up, this will lead the wrong way. Disney has changed, not for the good as far as I see. Yes.
It was refreshing to me. It really was.
In Luca?
Luca was we talked about that in the WDWpov live stream show earlier tonight, me and Marcus.
Yes.
But I mean, it was a good, wholesome family movie.
We've gone way over.
I know we have. Yeah, real life is changing, not necessarily for the good. But we keep just, trudging through and hoping and praying and trying to make things better.
So Kelly says they wouldn't do that because the idea was to escape reality. However, in more and more, and the reason I thought of this was because of the whole.
It's like the vanishing microphone.
Oh.
And then it's like.
Okay. Oh, I see. You've just. Okay. The whole. I was reading an article about the tattoos and the costumes and because the cast members can wear any costume that they want, male or female.
Right.
And visible tattoos and beards and somebody put a comment, well, this is real life.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. But that's the issue. People go to Disney to escape real life. They want to be in that bubble. They want to be in the Disney bubble where they can just get away from all the garbage and stuff that's going on in the real world and be in this very, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word. Almost fantasy, I guess, a fantasy world that, everything is just sort of perfect.
And the reason the
and
cast
clean
members
and nice.
And the reason the cast members all were supposed to look the same, no facial hair, no tattoos, no, not excessive piercings, things like that, were because the same reason why the groomsmen wore black or, all wore the same. And the bridesmaids all wore the same dresses in a wedding because the focus wasn't supposed to be on them. It was supposed to be on the bride and groom, and mainly on the bride.
Right.
And
who cares about the groom? He's just there for the ride, right?
But I mean, that's, so that's why the cast members were all supposed to look uniform.
Yeah.
Because
T9 is saying a controlled environment. Mary's saying, escape real life.
Yeah. But the cast members all were supposed to look uniform. So the focus wasn't on the cast member. It was on the guest.
Okay. So I'm going to point this out to our audience. So this is our first episode of the WDWpov Disney Couples podcast, okay? And the show has gone over. My wife was supposed to be in charge of that. But in addition to that, it appears we've gone off the rails a bit, because now we're talking about Disney World and costumes and cast members.
Well, it was all about that's what made me think.
Who got us off the rails?
But it was that made me think about Disney couples. And, we see in any Disney shows the death of half of the couple.
See, Mary said we went off the rails. I agree.
We did.
I agree.
Well, do you see that roller coaster thing on our logo, the roller coaster thing?
On what? On our logo?
Yes.
What about it?
On the Disney podcast, it's a roller coaster.
Yes.
Life is a roller coaster.
Yes. My wife, she had actually, I don't think I have it. Well, I have it with the song, so I can bring it up, but then the song would come up. But so that's, it says Disney Couples podcast, and it's sort of wavy. That's sort of the logo. And
that's sort of the logo?
Well, it is the logo. Yeah.
Okay.
It is the logo.
So,
but yeah, I guess it was sort of related, but I just thought it was funny because it was sort of off the rails a little bit.
It was.
It was.
But we are done.
Are we done?
We are done. How are we ending this?
We don't even have an ending, do we?
We do not have an ending, because that wasn't. I left you in charge of that.
Well, I mean, we could just talk out the ending. I don't know if we're gonna have like on our live stream show. We
can't sing because as a couple, we can't sing.
Maybe we'll have to teach you how to sing as a couple. You just move your lips and I'll sing.
Okay. If you are on a roller coaster and you go off the rails, it's very bad.
And actually, T9, that actually has struck upon with all the different conversations we've had, some on our show, some off the show, trying to come up with maybe a logo for the other show, which has been around for, the site and 3 to 5 years now, depending on how you look at it, the show versus our WDWpov thing.
See, Katie, we could just steal Katie's. Good night, sweet dreams, our dear friends. We love you all.
Now, we could do that. We could say that.
We could steal people's.
But anyway, T9, so one of the logo ideas is sort of a train thing.
Off the rails.
Off the rails. It'll be interesting. It might not make a good T-shirt, but it'll probably make a good mug. Because a T-shirt, it'd probably be too much detail to make a decent T-shirt version of it. But on a mug, you can make a good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we end this? So
no, it's no. Well, we could just basically say that yes, has to have a train. It will have it. That's what we're looking forward towards. A train, possibly.
Deer in the headlights of a train,
Possibly me and Marcus on either side of the train on the locomotive, just sort of looking like, and possibly if we can get this done right, should I say?
No.
You want it to be a surprise?
Yeah, when we get it done. I love it. I can't wait to update you next week and hear what's in store for next week. It has been very interesting. I will try some of your suggestions. Right. Oh, Kelly, we are happy to hear that. And we, you just kind of have to jump in and just try. I mean, what is the worst that could happen?
Thanks, Mary B. Yeah, so we'll have to figure out how to actually maybe have a regular ending to the show instead of what we're doing tonight. Tonight, I guess we'll just say
What do they say besides? No, what do Mickey and Minnie say? See you real soon.
yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
What does Minnie say? Does Minnie say anything?
I don't know. Does Minnie say anything? I know it may.
Oh, Mickey. She does. She says it.
Katie says she loved the episode. Thank you very much. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So,
And oh my goodness. So you need to get Ken the announcer to do an intro and outro. Yeah. Oh my.
Minnie blows a kiss. Okay. You say see you real soon, and I'll blow a kiss.
Tina says, say goodnight, Patty.
Good night, Patty.
Here you go.
Okay, here, really, this is it.
And thank you, Sandy, for staying up. I know
listen,
I know you didn't think you were going to make
come
it,
on.
but you
So-
made it.
So I blow the kiss, and you say see you real soon.
Okay, how's that?
Ready?
Okay.
Mwah.
See you real soon. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Well, no, you're supposed to just
No,
stop after that.
I got it, Lisa. Good night, everybody, and thanks for watching the WDWpov Disney Couples Podcast, our first ever episode. Have a magical week, and we hope to see you again next Monday night. Thanks a lot. And you want to do it again? Go ahead. Do it one more time. See you real soon.